What's up, world, and welcome back to another episode of Mix in Chat. I'm your boy Javi, here with my boy D-Lo.
Yo, what's up?
And our boy Cha Cha.
What's up?
Now let's get into it. Alright, y'all, so y'all know how we like to start it, but first let me say, Omega's not here tonight. He had some other things going on, but he will be back soon. With that being said, Cha-Cha, how you feeling?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good. Happy holidays to you guys. It's almost that time.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll be in Vegas over the weekend though. I'll be back Christmas Eve though.
Y'all give me a gift.
I'll be back.
Y'all give me something.
I'll bring you back a souvenir. I'm gonna get on that blackjack
Holiday
table.
cheer.
Yeah, the blackjack table will determine how big your souvenir is.
Please be good to him.
21.
All right. D-Lo, how you feeling?
I'm a little tired, but I'm gonna make it through.
Okay.
So
You got this. We got this. I'm pissed if y'all want to know how I'm feeling. Because I'm being hated on at work. And I know that it's not me. It's just them. So I need to just dial it back. I know. But it's frustrating to know that people are still ready to attack you even if you are doing good and you're just being happy and helping and helpful.
Misery loves company, man.
I'm just like, where is all this coming from? And I'm just
Yeah.
smiling in y'all's faces, and I'm genuinely a nice person, but it's here nor there.
Like I said, misery loves company.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad I work from home.
So I just keep my distance, do my job like I'm supposed to, and keep my smile. So,
Yeah.
But it does piss me off that people do stoop like that. People are like that, like for no reason.
You gotta sleep with one eye open at work, boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's always gonna be somebody just looking for a reason.
And I'm just gonna keep doing me.
They might want your job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
You're
right.
They might be mad that you got the job over them.
Period.
You know?
Oh God. But yeah, so we got some bold topics to talk about today, right?
Yup.
All right, it's gonna be interesting. Some breaking news, even. We can get started with the breaking news since that's like so simple and easy and so effective at the same time. Politics. What we all just found out about the House failed to pass the Trump-backed deal to avert a shutdown. That's a government shutdown. It's to be expected at this point, seeing that, yeah, it's crazy that the Republicans have the House and the Senate and they weren't able to pass that bill. But like D-Lo said, like it's a very close margin. So
All they need is one or two Republicans vote, and that's all it is to crush it. And I think they had 3. And so it. When I heard about it to begin with, they was Trump, because they had a bipartisan avert shutdown bill, and Trump called the Republicans and told them don't go against it because we want a shutdown to go on Biden's record.
Oh,
And
so this might be what that is too.
I can see that.
And then he's like we need to give that to the previous president. And then he even went on Twitter and said something. Well, X first, but I'm gonna still call it Twitter. But he so he went on there and said something, and then Elon said something, and then next thing you know, they shut down the bipartisan bill.
Oh wow!
And so, and then I guess 3 of them voted with the Democrats to shut the Trump-backed one.
Good. And just another thing that came in, I didn't notice people have been saying that, and I have been looking on like Twitter, like you said, not X, but formerly Twitter, X, looking on there, and people have been saying that Trump is the puppet to Elon.
Yeah.
That's something that just popped up.
No,
on the
that's
screen.
what I'm saying. Like Elon, he fell into the most powerful spot to be in.
Next to the president, yeah.
No, period. In the nation, like that's the best spot.
What is his title?
Well,
It's made up.
Yeah, it's made
Oh,
up.
okay.
But basically,
I seen it. I didn't. Yeah, it didn't
it's
sound familiar.
basically he's looking. He's got a
Bunch of
committee
big
to
words.
look at the debt.
Okay.
He's in
Okay.
charge of the debt, basically,
Right.
and bringing that down.
Okay.
So, if he says that if him and his people, his team says it's time to cut, let's say the Board of Education,
Right.
it's gone.
Right.
And that was one thing Trump ran on
Right.
to begin with.
So.
Go ahead.
So I wouldn't call it the most powerfulest, the most powerfulest position, more as over the greatest influence.
Yeah.
He has the greatest influence to.
He has the
on
greatest
Trump
spot to
me.
influence Trump.
Yeah, it just when
As far as the
Trump's right
when I
hand
say
man,
when I
essentially.
say the most powerful spot to be in is basically he's the power behind the face.
Right.
So like because
He's making the money moves.
Because basically Trump is indebted to Elon because if it wasn't for Elon, he wouldn't have won the election with his little
Facts.
giveaways.
But do you think Trump
And
sees
all
it
that.
like
There
that?
you go. 38
yeah.
Republicans voted no.
There you go.
38.
So
But my thing is, why isn't this still Biden's cabinet right now?
yeah.
Like
Yeah,
they
he's
haven't
still
actually
in office.
switched over. No, I'm not saying like has the House of Representatives and the Senate already switched their
No,
seats?
no. That
It
won't
hasn't
switch
happened
until
yet. So-
until the beginning of the year, at January 1st.
Okay, so how is it making Biden look bad if it's a Trump-backed bill?
No, the what it was. So what he was saying begin with when they had the bipartisan bill, which wasn't a Trump-backed deal. It was just
Oh.
something to get in motion to revert a shutdown.
Oh,
And so when Trump was like, "No, we need to let that fail." So that way, that shutdown will be on.
It'll be on
Biden.
Biden. Biden's watch.
Yeah.
Okay,
It'll
on
be on
his
Biden's
presidency,
watch.
and not on mine. If there's
Yeah.
going to be a
Yeah.
shutdown, I want it to be on him and not
Yeah,
on
make him look
Right.
So
bad.
now this is what's the effect of it is
I
happening.
mean, and it's
Gotcha.
still on Biden's watch, the
Yeah.
shutdown, but
Now that it's
but
been
it's
said
but this bill
it makes
was
it look
backed by
bad.
Trump.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes
and
Trump
his
look
own
bad.
and the Republicans who are normally, puppets for Trump, they were like, no, we're not going to back this. We don't want to back this with you, and that's saying a lot to me. That's saying a lot.
And they're also kind of saying like, is this how his presidency's gonna look?
Yeah.
When he's got
I
38
mean,
Republicans that's on his
basically,
side,
but he'll get
voting
a
against-
taste of what, and his people get a taste of what Biden dealt with, because in the first, what was it, 2 years,
And-
it was a very fine margin of voting. And
But
they
at this
couldn't get
point,
nothing
hell,
done.
you're not gonna need to have an election. You ain't gonna need to replace the Republicans because they already voting against them
Right.
anyways.
Yeah,
like we
right.
might as well just keep
Yeah.
in 2 years when they do vote again.
Trump messed
It
that
wouldn't
up.
matter.
Trump messed that up because they had the numbers. But
Right.
what happened was he took people that was already in their seats to his cabinet.
Right.
So he took their numbers down, and they was like, "Hey, you might want to take some. You might want to pick some other people because you're taking our numbers down."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why he basically shot himself in the foot on that one.
Dang, that's insane.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be
This is-
interesting when he takes office.
Yeah, this is delicious tea. This is juicy. This is juicy.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
love this.
it's-
I
it-
love this
Yeah.
to see. Okay, yeah, you can win this presidency, but you ain't gonna get what you want. You gonna get what the people want. I hope it stays like this.
Man, I think that there was a lot of rhetoric his first term that I just feel like they don't want to go through that. They want him to. I think they want him to do more, political work than just running his mouth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
be
Just
for
running
the
his
people
mouth
and
like
do
that whole
something.
COVID thing, and the false information that he was giving out that. Ultraviolet rays will get into your body.
Yeah,
and be
drink
able to-
bleach. Like,
drink-
come
yeah,
on.
that's
Well,
just rhetoric.
He
And-
did a press conference like a couple days ago, and I think it was like his first actual.
He was
one,
calling it the
like,
Chinese flu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he went back to calling it the China virus. Like, really,
Oh my
man?
God.
And see, a lot of that stuff. I mean, especially when he left office, man, they were so. I mean, they were just relieved, and then of course, I mean, there's some that's still going to go after the. I mean, he taught them well how to just mudsling. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just going to always be what it is.
Oh yeah.
You know, but I mean, I just feel like that they they're going to back him, but a lot of that stuff they just don't want to have to deal with because this is it for him.
Yeah.
These 4 years are gonna fly
Hopefully.
by. Once he sits, no, he's done. No. He can't. No, you're only allowed 2 terms.
Oh no, I know. It's just
unless he tries to change that law.
Yeah, unless he's trying to change
unless
that.
he tries to become a Democrat.
Yeah, good luck
dictator.
with that.
No, I mean,
Look at the things that they have with this Project 2025.
He's not gonna be able to pass that.
I hope not.
It gives me hope that they're not with seeing something like this on how fine that margin is on getting a bill passed.
They know
now,
what
if they had absolute power, like what they was going to start with, then I was going to be worried that we wouldn't have had another election.
Hell, now he's going to be like defund the Republicans, the House of Representatives, or something like that. Elon
Anybody that goes
take
against
their
him,
house.
he's going to talk ill about him, no matter. It doesn't
all 38
matter.
of them Republicans is about to hear it.
If he finds out who they are, he's going to chop their head.
He about to start paying people to vote against him.
He already tweeted that if anybody goes against them, that they'll be lucky to run in the midterms.
Yep. But we already know that this is the rhetoric with him. We already know that this is very up his alley, and it's to be expected. I just hope that it doesn't go any further than to the extreme extent that I feel like that he would probably take it to.
Yeah.
I just hope that he's shut down before that happens. But in other news, the United Healthcare CEO assassin, he was transported to New York, and he was surrounded by 13, 15, 16, 17 FBI police officers. Even the mayor was there to escort him. But they was parading him around like they were Speak Adams showboating like they were majorettes or something.
On a side note, you know who his lawyer is now?
Who?
It's a well-known defense lawyer. But what I thought was the weird coincidence, and how it has a connection to Diddy now, is his lawyer is married to Diddy's lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Speaking of his attorney was asked why tons of people. A reporter asked him, why does he feel like tons of people are trying to pay for his legal fees or paying for his legal fees? And he says, well, billionaires pay for candidates, and y'all call that free speech. Maybe these people are exercising their freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. You ask them.
No.
So, he's already getting a little bit of flack about, being the attorney and getting, stupid questions like that. But a lot of people, see him as a hero almost. It's crazy.
The healthcare system, man. It's the healthcare system.
That's what it do. You know how many, things that I see get denied?
I see it all the time.
And it's stupid stuff. Yeah. It's stuff one of the biggest things that I'll never get, and it messes with me, that stuff like IVF.
Yeah.
They don't pay for that stuff. Fertilization. They don't pay for it, but they want to be pro-choice.
Right.
They don't care. They don't care about what you do after you get pregnant, or they care what you do after you get pregnant. They don't care about if you get pregnant. If you can get pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, and I'm not going to name the insurance provider, but genetic testing. So a lot of genetic testing is done on cancer patients. They want to see, if there's a history of that, or if you have the DNA to show that to be possible. And I've actually had it done. Cancer runs in my family, but insurance providers. There's one specific I know, but they won't pay it, and they don't feel like it's medically necessary, and I don't know how they're able to make that decision. And just saying that alone, and you not be a healthcare provider, how is it that you, the insurance provider, can tell a care team that no, we don't think this is medically necessary, but the doctor is requesting it,
right?
And that's where the hatred comes from, or the people, the people's voices thinking that this suspect is a hero, because a lot of people have dealt with that, whether it be United Healthcare, whether it be Anthem, whether it be WellCare, Passport, whomever.
And they're like, he just cut the head of the snake off.
Yeah.
But they're just gonna put somebody else.
Yeah, I mean that's just the one thing. Like he didn't kill
He didn't kill the entire corporation.
No, because I mean it's actually United Healthcare was actually a subsidy off of United. It was like the main group.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
so he was just a CEO.
They're under an umbrella corporation.
Yeah, he was the CEO of that branch.
Yeah. Of the
United Healthcare Group.
Right. They call those
umbrella corporation.
I forget.
It's the subsidy of it.
Yeah.
But,
so it's like the mother corporation, and then there's people under them, different corporations.
They've got associates like for example, they might have, there's a coverage called UMR that's under United Healthcare.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I forget the name, Tetiary, something like that. I forget, but they call it that. But and a lot of them know that it's killing him is not going to change anything, but it's more of a that's what you get.
Yeah,
that's what you get. You brought it on your sale.
Right.
You brought it on your sale.
Yeah.
And I ain't having that situation, but that's how they feel.
It's the message of it.
Yeah.
They wanted to send the message, and that's what people are standing behind.
And that's scary.
They're not condoning the death. Most people are like, this is sick that they're actually, heroizing God because somebody died. They're not praising the death. They're praising what the message is.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And so my message, the insurance providers out there, y'all better beware, pay attention, because whether this man is found to be insane, have mental health issues, it doesn't matter. You can be a target. Mm-hmm. So pay attention to how you treat the people, you treat the people, because we're in a different day now. We're in a different time and a different day. People are just they're tired of just walking around outside of Capitol Hill with picket signs or going in front of the headquarters of an insurance company saying, this is not fair. Hell no, we won't go. They're past that.
Yeah.
They're past that, so they need to pay attention to that.
I mean, it's like with the advancement of medicine nowadays, you're going to tell me that they still don't have a cure for cancer? Or a certain type of cancers? They don't have the cure for AIDS?
Man,
I mean, Magic Johnson's been walking around for a long time.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, man, cancer, like I said, I work in a cancer, in an outpatient facility, for UK, Marquis Cancer Center, and I've had the opportunity to study through my certifications and understand the definition of cancer and what it is. And it's hard. It's hard because cancer is nothing but an abnormal cell growth, and they don't know how that happens.
Well, yeah, but
they don't know.
It's one of those things, like, because you've heard it. I mean, I've heard it where they've said that it's more profitable for them to treat a medical condition more than it is to cure.
Yes, and that's the thing about it. It's all a crapshoot. They have advancements in like you say, treating it. And it's kind of a hope for the best type thing, and then depending on what that cancer is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's some things that you can't.
And that's that's the research study, because there's percentages out there that show the probability of, let's just say, for example, prostate cancer.
Yeah.
There's no cure for prostate cancer.
No.
You can just treat it and just try to help your quality of life. But now, say prostate cancer versus lung cancer. Lung cancer is more curable.
Yeah.
There's some skin melanomas, skin cancer.
Well, at least
and so it's touchy.
At least find a treatment to at least get better with the treatment to where it doesn't end up doing more damage to the body.
Right, and that's the thing about that, though. That the research is constant, but you can't tell how an abnormal cell is going to respond to treatment, or how you can prevent it from spreading. And then you try to keep it, treat it within a specific area, but then it spreads from like the lung to the brain, and so now you have, and that's called metastasis.
Yeah.
When it starts in one area, then you go back and now it's somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's a lot that goes into that, man, and so it's a lot, man. The cancer, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough because you would think that you would be able to, if you could find a cure for, one type of cancer, that you could find a cure for another type. But they have, I didn't realize that there were so many different type of treatments that they have for, like, the radiation, then you have chemo, and then they have what's known as immunotherapy.
Yeah.
And that's basically taking, you might take some cells or some like stem cells or whatever, and I don't want to say for exactly that, and just give injections to that area, and send them home, or then you might have chemo pills. I mean, there's different type of treatments, and it just depending on the cancer, man. It's a lot, and I've learned a lot over the past. I've been in that department since 2021, but I started out in financial services, so it was just helping to pay bills. But now I'm over a year and a half now. I'm actually I'm a navigator, which I help patients with resources, and part of doing that is being able to know what type of cancer they have, because there's different resources available depending on your cancer.
Right.
And then the certifications allow you. They want you to know the lingo and the terminology and the definitions of the different carcinomas and adenomas, and it's just a lot. It's a lot.
Well, I mean, and then that gets you to wondering, like, if he actually knew someone, had someone in his life that was suffering that. I don't think I've seen anything.
No, I think it was he, like they said, that he dealt with chronic back problems.
Right.
Oh.
And so I think there was something he was trying to get done, and the insurance would pay for it.
Oh, but my thing is, that man don't look like nothing's going on with him. But anyways, you never know what's going on in somebody's life.
And he's got money. He comes from money, but it's
the
just
gays and straight women is loving this man.
Yeah.
They are like, oh God,
It's the principle.
Yeah.
I pay his bill as long as he lives in my house on probation.
Yeah, he's a
It's
gangster.
crazy.
He's hardcore.
Yeah, he's a thug.
Yeah, his silencer got stuck though. He got poor equipment, man. Poor equipment.
But that's all I've got for now. I got a little bit more that I want to talk about, but that's later on. It's extra juicy when y'all hear about this. When we come back, we'll get into another topic that either Cha-Cha or D-Lo have. So stay tuned, and we'll see you in just a second.
All right.
Peace. Yo, what's up? This is Cha-Cha back in the building.
Let's get it.
With Javi and D-Lo. So I got something I want to talk about.
What's that?
The Heisman. It took place last week. That's for the most outstanding. Yes, sir.
I did the pose.
The pose, yeah. Y'all can't see it. You just had to be there.
Yeah.
But the most outstanding player in college football, and that went to Travis Hunter. And you all, the world knows about Travis Hunter. He's a two-way player. He played 98% of the snaps on both sides of the football. He played corner, and he was a wide receiver. He's won a lot of awards. This is his third year in college. The second year at Colorado. Ashton Genty was the leading rusher in the nation. He ran for over close to 2,500 yards, which is unheard of. We haven't seen that in a while. There were some games that he didn't even play in the second half.
And he still got that many yards?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. And whether you thought whomever should have won, I'm okay with Travis Hunter winning, and I would have been okay if he didn't win. My issue is the backlash that Travis Hunter has been getting for winning. I've never seen anything like it, and I mean, and you just see and I think, yes, and I think it's based off of not facts but feelings. They're calling him. There's people on that get on the internet and say he's average. He was just an average, and it doesn't matter. It's about skill set. It's about skill set. It doesn't matter who you play. They say he didn't play against competition. I don't believe that. You can look on any pro team, and find a starter that came from a Division II team, or you know, the F what is it? Not the FCS, but the what's the other one? The FBS.
Oh, I thought it was FBA.
I can't remember. I have to look. Let me see. I can tell you what it is. But anyway, I'll get back to that. But you know, they just have so many different reasons for saying that he's not great. And if you've watched him play, you'd have to know this. He's amazing. Travis Hunter is amazing on both sides of the football. He's and you know, and he was top 5 in both. He might not have been a number 1 receiver, but he was in the top 5 stat wise.
He played for Colorado, did he?
Yes, played with Dion, and that's where the hate's coming from. Dion,
that's what I was getting at. I was like,
but
I
remember,
wonder if it's not really him, if it's just with his situation.
Remember, Dion recruited him at Jackson when he was at Jackson State.
Yeah,
at Jackson State, and you know that he was like the number one of the top recruits in the nation, and for him to go to HBCU, that reigned large all over the country, because that you had never seen anything like that. A number one ranked high school player going to a HBCU instead of a major university. But I mean, he was top 5 on the defensive side and top 5 on the offensive side, and even if you think, you know, the level of competition, it doesn't matter, because every team has a standout receiver. If he's a corner, it doesn't matter. Every team has a standout player on their team, no matter what the team does overall. You can have a team that, I mean, heck, look at Colorado. Last year they went 4 and 9, 4 and 8, 12 games, 4 and 8, and he was still consensus All-American and won the Paul Hornung Award. You know, so it doesn't matter. And every team, it doesn't matter. Every team has somebody that got drafted to the NFL.
My thing is, how are they getting mad at him for winning the Heisman when he's not the one that nominated himself and he's not the one that voted?
It's a hate for Deion, man. For
Deion Sanders?
Yeah.
It's Deion, man.
How long has that man not been playing his sport?
Well, it's not really that. It's just like they loved the prime time when he was a player.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of like one of those things that like they think he's too much as a coach.
They think he's arrogant.
Yeah.
They think that he's a showboater, which he's never been.
So they're hating on his players?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. They talk about his sons. They've been talking about him, and Travis carries a 4.0. He carries a 4.0 grade point average, of course.
No.
But and see, my thing is, like I said, I'm not here to pick a side. I'm not here to campaign for Travis. I just don't understand why
he's been hated.
People are so invested in it like this. You know, because I've never seen anything like it. When last year it was Jaden Daniels that won it for LSU, the quarterback for LSU, over Bo Nix. I thought Bo Nix should have won it. I thought he was the better passer, not so much as a runner. Jaden Daniels is you know, he can run and he can pass, but Bo Nix led his team, you know, to more victories and a better bowl, and I think they might have even won their conference. The Oregon won their conference last year. I think the Pac-12, they were in the Pac-12. I believe they won their conference. So, even if people thought that Bo Nix should have won it, you just didn't see people dogging Jaden Daniels like that. And now you even see posts about his girl and they calling him a simp. And he's been with his girl for 5 years so that means he was still in high school.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it, man. I don't understand why they're so invested in this man and they want them to fail.
Yeah, something like, because don't get me wrong,
because if he failed, it makes Deion look bad.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, I understand putting hate on somebody that's just getting their career started, because I didn't like LeBron from the get. So
well, LeBron is about he was a proclaimed GOAT before he even stepped on the court.
So but
that's
I hope he shines past it though and don't let it get to him.
That's what I'm hoping. Some of these kids
make them haters your motivators.
But just let these kids be great and let them do what they do.
Yeah, And I mean, yeah, and Dion is. He's a leader and a teacher of young men. He wants them to be great in life, and that's what he sells to them. And you see it all the time, and they don't accept that. He tells them all the time. He says it all the time. I want these. Half of you all are not going to make it to the NFL based on the numbers, not on their talent level, but based on the percentages. All of these universities. There's only so many spots on a football field, and you might not make it. So you need to take advantage of this education.
Right.
You got to be So he tries to teach them to be prepared, better young men in life.
Right.
And they just hate on that. I don't understand it. And I mean, before he got to Colorado, they were 1-11, and then his first year there they were 4-8. Which is better than 1-11,
yeah.
And they still don't say he can coach. Now he's 9-3 this year, and they say it's because now they're saying it's a competition.
Yeah. Now they say they're in a weak conference.
Yeah, but 5 of those, but they were one of 5 teams that made the top 25 out of that conference.
Yeah.
But even still, 9-3 is still better than 1-11. Definitely. And I'm gonna say this one last point, and I'm gonna be done. As a matter of fact, there was somebody on social media that actually called him a preacher and not a coach, said that he takes already coached players and preaches to them, which makes absolutely no sense, because now basically what you're saying is if he's taking players that's already coached, okay, so that means that he got players out of the portal. What college is not doing that? What schools are not doing that? Number one. And then number two, so you're trying to tell me that he has no scholarship freshmen on his team at all. If he's taking players that's already coached, that means he doesn't have a freshman on his team. Make that make sense.
I mean, honestly, that statement is just dumb anyways, because there is no player that's not been coached.
Exactly.
They're a player, they've been coached.
They've been coached.
Right. No matter when they started.
It's not like
Warner.
Yeah, it's not like they.
It's not their first time
in. It's not like you popped your head into a college and was like, hey, you want to play football?
Yeah, right. And so that just lets you see the level of hate, man. And some of the stuff that they say, it's real silly.
Let him have his moment.
Man.
Quit looking at this as a win for Dion. Look at it as a win for this young man.
They hate to see it, man. They hate to see it. He gets so much coverage, man, and they hate to see it.
But let him have been with a different coach, and they would have been praising it.
Oh, they praying for his downfall. They praying, like I said, it doesn't matter, because they was 1-11, man. Colorado before he got there, they was 1-11. So what can you say,
Mr. Hunter? I hope you become the talk on everybody's lips for the rest of your life.
His son's gonna be great. They're both gonna be top 5 draft picks.
Yes.
So my shout out to him. Shout out to the second place. Everybody that made the final cut for the Heisman. Shout out to all of them.
Yeah, man. Because that's not like a small feat or anything. That's not like a small trophy.
So like I said, I don't have a dog in this race. I just don't understand why people are so invested in him winning it over Genty. I don't get it. And people are still talking about it. I'm like, why are you so invested in that?
It could be the hate towards Coach Prime, and it also could be because it wasn't the person they wanted to win.
Yeah, but get on with your life, cause
right.
Like I said, I didn't think Jaden Daniels was going to win it last year. And if you ask people, like I asked you earlier, do you remember who won it last year? You was like,
I don't.
Do you remember who won it year before last?
No.
Caleb Williams at USC, right? Yeah. See what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying, man. And you know who won it before him? I think it was Devontae Smith at Alabama, the wide receiver. It might have been him, or he was deserving of it though. He was his senior. That's when Waddle went down though. Remember Waddle that plays with Miami?
Yeah.
He broke his ankle, so but that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother going into past Heisman's. What do you have for us, D-Lo? What you got in sports wise? You got anything you came for us today?
We had that Louisville game. First before we get started on that, speaking of Kentucky, speaking of just basketball in general, I want to give a shout out to Chris Lofton. I've known him. He's from Maysville, same as me. We've known each other since we was growing up. He passed the NBA coaches program.
Okay.
So now he's able to coach in the NBA.
Good for him, man.
Yeah.
Nice, congrats.
So
Yeah.
he was that one kid. He was that one kid we all, you always played any type of sport with, and you were like, man, they gonna do big things. He was one of those kids.
Okay.
So, but anyways, yeah, let's talk about this little game, man.
I just rewatched that today.
Who was MVP?
Butler.
33 points, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So first, let's get into the whole team stat thing. Kentucky was 58% from the field, while Louisville was 44.
Ooh.
Was total field goals?
No, that was a percentage. Total field goals, 32 to 58 or 55 on Kentucky.
Right. No, I mean when I say total, I mean was that the 58 from 3 or just all?
Oh no, that's all together.
All together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the 3-point, it was 52.
Ooh.
Kentucky, and then 35 Louisville, which has been a better 3-point than the past couple games they have.
Yeah.
But, man, they can get these turnovers under control though.
Yeah.
They had 11. Kentucky had 11 turnovers, man.
And I'll give kudos to Louisville on lack of turnovers. They've been hit by the injury bug, and they fought hard. They fought hard, and they got a new coach. I think he was the coach of College of Charleston.
I know. I kept calling him Donnie Wahlberg. He looked like Donnie.
Oh, does it? Donnie Wahlberg, new kids on the block.
See, while we on a different topic, when you started talking, I looked over at you and I looked at your hair and I was like, I bet you he is happy his hair grew back from when we first started this podcast because they cut his hair and he was pissed.
Boy.
Yeah, it was just shorter. She just went hacking on my hair.
Yeah, he was hot.
But
he was hot. This is not gonna.
No, I need to get my hair cut. I do.
Make sure you go to the right person.
Right. That's what I'm trying to find is a good barber.
But anyway, back to what you was talking about.
So what did Louisville shoot from 3 again? 35%.
Yeah.
So now I was watching the game at B-Dubs. Remember I said I was gonna.
I was gonna meet you there, but I was still doing yard work at the time.
Yeah. The one to go to is not the one out this way, cause it's standing room only. No. The one to go to is the one on South Broadway.
See, that's the one we used to.
That's crazy to me because that's campus.
There was plenty of space, man.
Yeah, see, that's the one me and Tamara would go to originally to watch UFC fights.
Okay.
But then we started moving closer to how close it is to the house, so that's why we started going.
So
there
was a stat that went across the TV that sticks out in my mind since you was talking about the 35%. They're ranked 7th in the country for attempts from 3. But they're ranked like 334th as percentage made. But they just keep jacking. They only shoot like 28%. That's why I said so. 35 is better. They only shoot 28.
Yeah,
or
so
between
24. They're starting 5 from 3.
We're gonna make them eventually.
They're starting 5 from 3. It was you had Waterman that was 3 and 9.
Boy.
That was practice for these.
Let's see.
They ain't gonna make them, but they gonna try.
Smith was 2 and 9. And then Hepburn was 4 and 11. The only one that had a close one that probably brought up the percentage was Edwards, and he was 5 of 7.
I was getting ready to check. I think did he foul out?
He fouled out. Yeah, because they gave him I think it was like a sacrifice call. You know what I mean? Like where they don't really put a foul on the person that it needed to go to. They'll put it on some random person so that way the other person don't get foul trouble. I don't know how they end up deciding how they do that, but that's what the refs will do.
Yeah, he was giving them that work. He was, man.
But
Butler watched it again today.
But Butler was too though. He was 10 for 10 from the field goal.
Come on, 10 for 10.
And he was 6 from 6 from the 3. So he was hitting like. He came out. That was
a good night for him.
This was his first game back since he. I think.
Oh yeah, he had a point to prove to himself.
It was a home game. He must have got him some like the night before. He must have got him some.
And then
Sandra, let me go ahead and ease your tension right here.
Yes,
But see,
sir.
and then you got Oway. He was 7 from 11 from the field goal. So
7-11 from the field.
Yeah.
Okay. How many threes he made?
1 for 2.
Okay.
So it's
good.
still not bad.
Yeah,
You know.
but that's good because he hasn't been solid
He's-
from 3 in the last few games anyway.
He's more of a cutter.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
he can knock it down.
He can. He's more of a cutter. Like you get him going on the cut, he's making that all day long.
Yeah, I think the last few games he's been relying too heavily on that. So
Yeah.
good for him.
So it just like I said, we can get that turnover thing down, and now we was number 5. We was at number 4 before that game, and then we got knocked down to number 5, but now we're back up to number 4 in the rankings.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
The SEC as a whole is just busting everything.
yeah, the SEC has 8 teams in the top 25.
And they're projected to get right now. They're projected to get 12 or 13 teams into the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Especially with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma is undefeated. I watched the Oklahoma game last night. They won it on a 4-point play. They was down by 3, and dude hit a 3 and got fouled and made the 3 and hit the free throw, and they were losing the whole game.
Man.
And Oklahoma to Michigan, they were losing the whole game, and they came back, and dude just tried to tie it up, and he made the 3, and so he hit the free throw and gave him a 1-point lead, and Michigan came down and didn't and missed the shot. They only had a chance at one. It was like seconds remaining, and they won it at the. So they're still undefeated. So yeah, them I think Texas might still be undefeated. So yeah, the SEC right now is just dominating.
Yeah.
Wow.
South Carolina busted Clemson, something we couldn't do over the weekend. I saw that. That was a good game.
So now I got 2 of the 3 teams that I want Kentucky to beat this year. So, and then everything else is all gravy.
Who's the third team you want them to beat?
Arkansas.
Oh, of course.
And the reason why it's not to hate on Calipari. I just want people to put that to bed. You know what I mean? Like if we lose, then you're gonna hear all the people sitting there talking about, well, I told you
so.
Calipari, blah blah blah. You know what I'm saying? But if we win, it's just put that to bed. Forget about all that.
Let me say this to you Calipari fans, because I seen what y'all said when we got rid of Calipari before we hired Pope. There was some of y'all on social media saying, I hope Cal, when we play him, I hope he busts UK. I don't care who you are. I don't care who the coach is. If you true blue, you never, go against BBN. Nope. So if you a Cal fan, take your ass to Fayetteville and don't you bring your ass back. We don't want you. We ranked higher than Cal ever was in years at this stage of the season. So if you don't jump back on the bandwagon now, we don't want you. Yeah. Go back to Fayetteville with Calipari and stay there. We don't want you. Stay your ass gone.
Yeah.
Period.
Have a nice day.
And so our next game is it was going to be Saturday against Ohio State.
Yeah.
Okay. And then so the one thing I'm mad about that game is because it was supposed to have been like the reunion of the comeback for Bradshaw. But was it Bradshaw?
Yes.
Was his name? Yeah,
yes.
Bradshaw. But he somehow got into some trouble.
I've heard about that.
And he
fixing games.
Yeah, he is no longer.
When he was with us.
He is no longer playing.
So is he on the team and they just got him not playing, or is he no longer?
No,
is
he redshirted or something?
Yeah, no, they said that he is no longer participating in any sports activities.
So he's not participating because if he does and is found guilty, then those games will be forfeited.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna set him out.
Yeah.
So he's still on the team, and so I mean.
What do you mean he was? So he was like tricking the games?
Yeah.
So basically, if this, he's in there.
Like, we're gonna pay you this money if you trick this game.
Yeah, it's spreads, different spreads.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Or he gonna get killed because somebody lost a lot of money off him for tricking them games.
It's basically the same thing. What was his name? The guy from the NBA, Javante Murray.
That was betting on himself.
That was he was. Well, he wasn't betting on himself. It was like he was shaving points off.
Point shaving, yeah. That's the word I couldn't think of, yeah. Because
he was given the inside point because he was in gambling debt. He was in debt, so that's his way of paying them off. And now I think they actually had a sentence today. I looked that up, but I think they finally had a sentence. So I think he might be doing some hard time right there. So
Who they've got evidence? See, I haven't followed it.
They closed it. It's he was sentenced today. Like he found guilty.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he was found guilty.
And see, with gambling, like these gambling apps, sports apps, FanDuel, whatever,
DraftKings and all that.
You can bet simply on an individual's stats. It doesn't even have to be point shaving for a point for the spread. You can bet that he's gonna get 5 rebounds. Yeah. Or he's gonna get X amount of points on it, for himself, and and so he get in there and. He's just jacking up threes instead of taking it to the hole, like, man, or he get up and trick off a layup. It might be intentional.
Well, what got him caught was there was a specific player bet. It's called a prop bet. Mm-hmm. That if he would make under this amount of threes, then that was going to be like a lot of money.
And there you
know what I mean? So what he did was he went out to the game, played, and then complained of an illness so he can get taken out of the game, get sent to the locker room.
And get that money.
And so he did that for like a few games. It was a couple games.
Damn.
And,
real?
And so that's what got
You didn't think they was going to catch you, Eddie?
I might have to look into that one.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I would love to talk about that.
Let me come on. Wait, in the NBA, hey, I need you to call out sick.
We talked about it. I think it was like for season 1 we talked about it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of on the back.
But you got his name wrong.
Yeah.
And then you have to correct yourself in the next
one.
And this is a man who was out for the first part of the season due to injury. He didn't even start off the season.
And his brother's an NBA champion. Like his brother's the one he was like, he had to distance himself from his brother.
Yes. I remember that.
Because he was like, bro, like they looking at me now, like.
Period. Boy, yeah. Speaking of distancing ourselves. There's some juice going on there in this
industry. Get to it.
I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you go.
But I feel like we need to go ahead and talk about this because it's on my tongue and I've been wanting to scream it. So this is about Jay-Z.
She good.
Are y'all ready to hear it? Did you have more to say first?
Nah, we good.
Are you sure?
Go ahead.
Did you need to conclude your segment real quick?
No. We did that.
Okay, period. Because I just felt like we were going in a different direction and we need to linger into this person because you said something about he was trying to pay off his debt.
No.
Well, people are feeling like he's trying to pay off his skin. So we brought last week or the week before about Jay-Z being accused of what he did back in the day with the 13-year-old. So his accuser admits to NBC that she's made a serious mistake and the testimony shows inconsistencies.
Okay. I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
I got something to add to that.
So her father was also in the interview and said that he doesn't remember picking her up from any assumed assault. And he noted that their home is also 5 hours away from this party. So we got this 13-year-old girl at this party of 5 hours away from home and her dad's at home.
Right.
Like, I don't understand that.
That was the question last segment, right?
Yes.
How did a 13-year-old get out of the house? Yeah, and he's trying to clear his name. I don't blame him.
Yeah, so, and then went on to say that she says that the celebrity she claims to have spoken to, who was not in New York at the time, but Jay-Z was in a different location than she was describing. So he wasn't in New York. Well, he was in New York or wasn't in New York, but he wasn't at the place that she said that the guy that she talked to was describing. Okay. So he wants the case dismissed. However, her attorney, Tony Busby, wants to continue to vet her on her claims to see pretty much if there was some truth to it, and he was trying to pay her off, had paid her off. So he says that he's collecting corroborating data to the extent of existence, so to see if there is some existence to it, and he was paying her off. What y'all think about that?
So
that's juicy to me.
Okay, did you know that Jay-Z has actually dropped a rap about that, claiming his innocence, and that and my hope is to find it. Somebody played it. I should have saved it. Somebody
claiming his innocence on this.
Yes.
Here recently.
Yes, I heard it.
Dropped something here recently.
Yes.
Are you sure it wasn't AI? Are you sure it wasn't AI?
No. It was him. It was him. I mean, there's no video.
No, I want to dive deep.
And you know what? And so we can stick a pin in that, and hopefully I'll be able to find it on social media somewhere.
You won't have to, because you know me. I'm going to dig it.
So we can play it. I want to play it on the next show.
Yes.
On the next show.
I got you. Yeah. I'm gonna find it. If it's out there, I will find it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so, it's out there. He went
so
in
what
like only Jay-Z.
Do you think that he's innocent?
He said they trying to get money, and it's a one, two.
What you think, Elon?
So I think it's a bigger picture involved. I don't think it's necessarily about that case, because they're trying to get him on the RICO case with Diddy. And all this, that's why they kept saying, it was at a Diddy party, it was at a Diddy party. Because they're trying to get his somewhat known accomplices in the RICO case.
Got you.
And they already suspect him as a known accomplice because he's everywhere Diddy is.
That's his best friend.
Yeah. And so now Jay-Z came out and said that him and Diddy's not friends.
Right.
I mean, never seen them like that close. Like I seen at parties, they might have taken a picture, but what celebrities didn't take pictures together? Though. Yeah. But he did say that they had been to Diddy parties, but they just left. Yeah. They didn't stay for the extracurricular activities.
There's a lot of celebrities that have said that.
I remember that we had recorded this. I mentioned this on an earlier podcast that we recorded, saying that there was an incident where Cassie and Diddy had gotten into it, and Beyonce pulled her aside and didn't leave the party until she knew that Cassie was safe, and then they left the party. What happened after they left, she has no idea of. Right. But also, I wanted to bring this up with all of this. There was this red carpet, where Blue Ivy made her debut red carpet for The Lion King with her mom, Beyonce, her grandmother, Tina, and her dad. But in this, they're on the red carpet taking these pictures, y'all, and Blue's getting her shots. She's doing her poses or whatever. And if y'all don't see me, I'm posing like Blue Ivy. And then Beyonce walks over. So Beyonce's walking over to get in the picture because Beyonce plays the mother of the character that of Kiara. Yeah. So Kiara is played by Blue, and is it Sarabi or whoever Kiara's mom is? Nyla? Whoever Kiara's mom is.
I can't make it pretty.
Is played by Beyonce. So Beyonce's getting her picture taken, and then Jay-Z starts to walk over. Well, Blue looks at Jay-Z and then rolls her eyes and looks at her mom, and then she just goes back to taking pictures. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
And then Jay-Z goes over, and then Jay-Z goes over and joins Beyonce, and Beyonce kind of makes this smirk, and then she goes back to taking pictures. So it's almost like they are kind of trying to distance themselves from him.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I have a feeling that it's real. I have a feeling that there's something going on with Diddy that Jay-Z is involved in. They're just pushing these different narratives until one sticks.
Yeah. Right. So basically,
throwing spaghetti on the wall to see if it's good and done. Right.
So
the reason, you see what I'm saying?
The reason why I think he's an accomplice is that they've all known each other. They all ran in the same circles.
Yeah.
Being the big music people of New York.
I pray it's not true.
But
I have a feeling.
But Jay-Z, he's not more of the front person like Diddy is.
Yeah.
Diddy's gonna be all in your face about everything, being flashy about
They're very private.
But Jay-Z has a different role than Diddy as well. Diddy's the owner of the label. Jay-Z works for Def Jam. He's like the president of Def Jam. So they're in the same arena, the same industry, hip hop, but But Jay-Z has expanded because now he grabs artists like Rihanna. You know, he doesn't just, he's just not into the hip hop scene.
Well, and that's the thing though, and that's where
he's a, what they call it,
a mogul.
Yeah, he's an
all around entrepreneur now.
Yeah, because he's not just dabbling in music.
Philanthropist, and so I don't think they really run around in the same circles, especially since he stopped rapping. I just think that it's easy to associate him. You know, I mean, everybody's friends with everybody in the industry, especially if you're from New York. Everybody's had something to do with somebody in the early days, like the 90s and even the 80s when they were nothing, and then they started. You got Diddy's from what? Where is he from? Harlem? He's not from Brooklyn, is he?
No, he's from Harlem.
Harlem, and then Jigga's from Brooklyn, and then you got like Nas from Queens, and then you got like,
and they all beef with each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
at first it was cool, like especially Jay-Z and Nas. They was in Murder Inc. You know, they was about to do the Murder Inc. group. Yeah, but then something happened between them to where Jay-Z said something to him about him on
that's
the track.
When they had that diss track on each other, Ether and whatever Jay-Z's was called.
And then Nas came out with Ether.
Yeah.
And that got shut down real quick.
so that's where Remy Ma got Sheether from.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Nas's Ether.
Biggest
round robin in
the two biggest diss tracks in NBA and hip hop is basically the one that Pac did for Biggie, and then Ether. In the modern day,
I don't know. I don't know.
Regardless if you like it or not, it's still like.
I'm gonna have to go with No Vaseline Ice Cube.
Yeah.
When you dissed all of NWA.
That was,
damn, y'all know I had to set it off.
Yeah. No, I will admit, that one, like that.
I'll take that one over Hit 'Em Up all day.
If you ask me, it would be No Vaseline, Ether, and then Hit 'Em Up. You know what I mean? But it's just one of those things that but you actually gotta know hip hop. Right. Like not knowing hip hop, you would say like Hit 'Em Up would be your first one.
There's so many Pac fans, but Pac is not even on my playlist. I never really was a big Pac fan. I listened to his music, but I'm not a big fan of his music and his.
Yeah,
and you won't. Yes, I was more of a Biggie fan, but that was before the Biggie and Pac beef. Because Pac's first album, Tupacalypse. Now, all he wanted to be a soldier. So that was my cut. That was my cut, man. But I just was never really a big Pac fan, and so, but I was a Ice Cube fan when he dropped his first solo joint, America's Most Wanted.
Yeah.
And then when he did No Vaseline, and he came out recently and said that when they asked him, what do you think? He said, well, mine was better because Pac needed help to do his diss, and people misunderstand that because what he was saying was he did his rap alone and dissed all of NWA and the manager Jerry Heller.
Well, and that's what people don't know, that Cube was basically writing all NWA stuff.
But what I'm saying is that when he said Pac needed help, he didn't mean that Pac really needed the help. Pac didn't need the help, but he had other people on that song. He had a
ghostwriter.
Somebody. Well, no. Actually, had verses.
They had
verses. The Outlaws. One of the Outlaws.
He had his little crew with them.
They were called the Outlaws, and one or two of them did a verse on there. I know one for sure. So, and that's all he was saying, that he did his all by himself. But and there it is. We'll get into that later.
But back on the Jay-Z thing, I think.
Look at him in that picture though.
I think that they are in cahoots with a lot of things. Yeah. And
you talking about Jay-Z?
Jay-Z and Diddy.
They
was when people talk about the hip hop Illuminati, they the heads of it.
I don't believe that stuff. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I do. I mean, I ain't gonna. Don't get me wrong. I like a good conspiracy theory, and that's like the Illuminati, Freemasons, and all that.
They've been talking about that long before Jay-Z.
But yeah, it's.
I mean, and it may be true, but I have a hard time. I have a hard time seeing Jay-Z involved because he's just always behind the scenes, and I mean that's no excuse, but I'm just saying that the way the world is today, and I mean even with Diddy, before these stories came out, before he got indicted, you had his bodyguard that's been on these different podcasts talking about Diddy, what he was doing, and
well, yeah, but now you got people that was on Jay-Z's stuff coming out and saying things. I mean, even Rihanna said that was the reason why she got out of music, because she wanted to get off the
right. But that's different.
She was wanting to get away from Diddy and Jay-Z, because Jay-Z was the one that told her that if she didn't sign her contract, then she can.
There was two ways out.
Yeah, she can jump off the balcony.
Right, and that's and see that's different when you playing with somebody's career. I get that.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about all of this other. That's not illegal. What that right there is not illegal at all. When you tell somebody you sign with me or you'll never be in this industry, I'll get you blackballed. That's not illegal.
Oh no, he wasn't saying blackballed. He was saying I throw you off this balcony.
Right, but still, you can't prove that.
No, you can't.
So that's why I say. So I'm just throwing that out there, out the door, because you can't prove that.
Right.
Unless you like Diddy got cameras in the room. Diddy got.
Yeah.
Nah.
People in Hollywood like this, well, they shiver.
Well, but that's the thing, though. But that's what I was saying. Like Diddy was more the explosive, unpredictable element, where Jay-Z was the more level-headed, kind of calm-headed, thinking things through first.
And when we say the people in Hollywood, we don't mean like literally the people in Hollywood. We just mean the celebrities that were close to Diddy.
That were in that party. Well, you have. there's a lot of big name people that are not celebrities that just might be like senators. Yeah. They talking about TD
known
Jakes.
Figures in
the world. Yeah, that are caught on his videos. Even speaking on that. There's a lot of. I mean, you can go to a Diddy party and have a blast, but when you on your way to the bathroom and you look in one of the rooms, you might see something. Yeah. And so you like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. And that's the stuff that you be like, I'm going. Oh, look, here we out. That's some stuff.
I heard noise. I'm out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so there's going to be some people that don't have to hide their head in the sand, because they can say I was there. And there's been people that said I was there, but I didn't see all that. I knew there was some funny stuff going on,
but I didn't invest time figuring out what it was.
I didn't do all of that.
Honey, I had my drink, had a good time, and left.
So. I know that we'll all know everything when everything comes out to light.
I didn't know that part of it.
That's I think that's what's gonna happen. Is they're gonna everything's gonna come out to light, man.
I don't think they're gonna find nothing on Jay-Z or Beyonce. The only one that's really been saying shit is Jaguar Wright, and she's just been talking about everybody. I don't know what's wrong with her.
That's the thing about that I said for a while now, is people like Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown, like.
There's some truth behind.
There's some truth behind some of that craziness they be talking.
Yeah, Orlando Bloom. Yeah, Diddy got him. Yeah, he already. Yeah, Diddy got him. Like Diddy. He owns that. He owns that. He's a name, but he said Diddy got him. He ain't. But Jaguar Wright be talking about everybody. Yeah. I mean, she said it about Christopher Williams giving fellatio to Diddy, and it wasn't true. And Christopher Williams came on and said, I didn't need Diddy because I came out in the late 80s. I was making music in the 80s, so I didn't need to give Diddy fellatios to get a record deal. I already had a record deal. And then there was another dude that came on a different podcast and said, no, it wasn't Christopher Williams. It was somebody else that was in there that might have looked like him, but it wasn't him. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of stuff that Jaguar Wright is saying, she might be telling the right story, and it might be hearsay to her, but she's naming the wrong people.
Yeah,
and that's like I said, the timeline was way off.
Yeah, right. And that's what I'm saying. Like like some of the like people taking them as just plain crazy. But no, there's some truth sprinkled in that crazy.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people say that
but
a lot of times when people come forward, they're being paid off. Like this girl that is saying that, oh no, this didn't happen. They're asking like, oh, did she get paid off?
Yeah,
yeah.
And I mean that can
New
very
Jack
well
City.
possibly too. You know what I mean? Like,
when did New Jack City come out? When did that come out? Because Christopher Williams is on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Don't wake me.
And that's in the 90s.
Yeah.
What, New Jack City?
Yeah.
That's in the 90s?
Early 90s or the late 80s.
Okay, so he had something before that then.
It might have been the late 80s.
He had.
I wasn't born until the 90s.
I think that was.
I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Not that it's so hilarious to you.
Oops.
I think.
Whoop, there it is.
Look at you. I know that song too.
I think it was the mid 90s because that was one of the first movies Chris Rock was in.
What?
New Jack City, yeah.
That was where he got his start in.
So movies. I got the wrong song then, but I do remember a song with him in the 80s.
Yeah, but
in the 80s with Christopher Williams.
I guess we'll see what actually unfolds with Diddy and Jay-Z, if anything does come to fruition with Jay-Z. And they're saying that Beyonce's like distancing herself from Jay-Z and they are going through like a split up. And that on one of the, I think it was actually the billboards, it went by Beyonce Knowles and not Beyonce Knowles Carter, as if she dropped his name from her name.
Yeah, it's a power move.
But then they say that they do that every year to her name. But I don't think that that's true. I'm curious as to why. Was it an error? Is it going to be corrected? Is this something that she requested? I'm going to be doing some digging into that to figure that out too. On top of trying to find this rap that Jay-Z did about his innocence.
Oh yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it. It's decent. I liked it. I liked it.
But anybody else got anything else?
This
was a juicy episode.
Yeah.
On top of different things that we're finding out as we talk about certain things on this screen.
Yeah. So
Elon must be in the puppeteer. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So he's our president.
There's some stuff.
Look,
yeah,
I
there's
told
some
you
stuff.
it's gonna be the most powerful spot in the nation.
Yeah,
he has the best spot.
He blew up the. It said the building in Pets after Elon Musk.
But too bad if Trump dies, he don't become president.
Huh?
I said it's too bad if Trump dies, he doesn't become president.
Oh, that's why they got Vance.
So Vance is just gonna be like a puppet to
of course
Elon.
That's why they got Vance. They wanted to put anybody in power to where way if something happens, then it's
Elon
still gonna
Musk
be running.
overshadows Trump in a spending
deficit. Yeah, because he's blowing up. He blew up the spending
deficit.
He blew it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what it just showed.
He's basically running without being the president because he can't.
The finance.
Because he's not born in America.
Mm.
So he has the best spot. He's the power behind the throne, basically.
Wow. All right. So, I have my thought of the day today.
Yes, let's get into Cha-Cha's thought of the day to wrap it up, y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up with my thought of today of the day. And so, my thought of the day is everybody's not for you, and that's okay. Sometimes you have to separate yourself from certain people, and it doesn't have to be personal. Sometimes when you make life-changing decisions, everybody's not going to understand that, and they may look at you as you feel like you're better than them. I just want to do better for myself. And the thing about that is some people can are only comfortable doing dirt if they have somebody to do it with them. And so if you decide to change and turn over a new leaf, then they're going to look at you. They're going to look down on you. But that's okay. It's never going to be personal. So, just be okay with it. Do what's best for you and separate. You can be friends, but sometimes you just have to love people from afar. That's my thought of the day for today.
All right.
Let that misery love company.
Yeah.
Now let that marinate with you over this week, and we will catch you next time. I'm your boy Javi, here with my boy D-Lo.
Yo.
And our boy Cha-Cha.
Chicka chick.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Mix in chat.